Information Evolution Model, IEM briefly, and Information Value Chain, IVC, which are well explained in his book titled Information Revolution. IEM and IVC are also the key words of his speech today. Please welcome Mr. Jim Davis.
Today into one of the issues that we all face, no matter whether we are in Korea, whether we are in the United States, whether we're in Russia, whether we're in Western Europe, we're all facing issues associated with how we can be most competitive in today's market and what we need to do to take advantage of the resources around us. So what are some of the issues that we face as an organization today? This is actually a survey that came out 2 weeks ago from an organization called the Conference Board located in the United States. They surveyed almost 770 CEOs from around the world representing more than 40 countries. They asked them to pick from over 120 issues that they felt they needed to address. And these were the top issues. These are the global results. And if we look at the global results, we very quickly see that excellence in execution is the key issue that as a global force that we need to face. We have the resources available to us. We have a lot of resources available to us. We have a lot of competition today. The challenge becomes one of how do we best execute in today's market and understand today's market. You can see some of the other priorities here: sustained and steady top-line growth, consistent execution of strategy by top management, profit growth, of course. These are all obvious things that we need to pay attention to. If we look at this data and we break it up by region just a little bit, so this is for the entire world, let's look at what the priorities were for the Asian CEOs. And we look, and they're pretty much the same, not quite the same. If you look on the left-hand side of this slide, you will see the number 1, the number 2, and the number 3. These were the top 3 for the entire globe. Now this is the slight shift from an Asian perspective. You see that there's an issue associated with finding qualified management talent. That certainly contributes to how well we can execute in today's markets. Number 2 is the same as the global number 2, sustained and steady top-line growth. And then excellence in execution is number 3. And I think that's fine that excellence in execution is still, is not number 1, but is number 3. It's still one of the top 3 priorities. A couple of others are introduced here that we did not see on a global basis in the top 10. If we look down, we see that there is number 4, seizing opportunities for expansion and growth in China. I think that is a very, very positive sign. I know from my experiences in working in the United States and my experiences in working in other sustained economies like Western Europe, I do not believe that there is enough of a sense of urgency in terms of what's happening in economies in China, as well as I believe you'll see number 10 down here, seizing opportunities for expansion and growth in India. So I think this is a very, very good sign that Asia as a whole is focused in on how to take advantage of these emerging markets. The number 11. I believe if you don't remember anything else from this talk, remember the number 11 and what it represents. It's the rate at which information is doubling in the world. In 2005, the rate at which information was doubling was every 1,100 days, about every 3 years. 2007, today, the rate at which information is doubling is every 11 months. And in 2010, there's one estimate by researchers at IBM that say that information will double in the world every 11 hours. Not days, but hours. So the challenge that we face is how do we make sense of all that information and all the data that's being generated in the world today and make sense of it from the standpoint of surfacing it to those who need to make decisions within our organization. This is how we're going to innovate. This is how we're going to sustain and support creativity. It is going to be by harnessing this data that is out there in the world today. And I can tell you from experience, the emerging markets very much understand this and want to use the data for competitive advantage. Pick those projects in which we use data and we can measure ROI. The success will build. It will snowball, and you will begin to see the mindsets change. You have to appeal to your executive sponsors. What are their pain points? They have bottom-line pains. They have top-line pains. I guarantee there are projects that can be put into place that will gain the attention of the organization. So in summary, that's the information evolution model. It is extremely powerful. We could talk about the model and how to use it for 2 days. But the point is we need to baseline where we are as organizations. We need to look at what's going on in this world. We need to recognize that what made us great as a country, what made us great as businesses within this country is not necessarily what's going to make us successful going forward. There are some very, very hungry markets out there. There's a lot of data out there. And as you can see by those Google searches, there are a lot of emerging markets that are trying to figure it out and use data to a competitive advantage. So we can also excel in our market. We can excel if we can figure out how to harness the power of this data and make it available to our decision makers within our organization. So I thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to the panel's response as well. Thank you.
The intelligence and the importance of flexible infrastructure. We already experienced the business value that the benefits from the intelligence. Now, new banking system project worth of $200 million is on the way as a 2-year project. So this is all about intelligence. So financial service has 2 unique characteristics. First, marketing and sales activity happen at the same time. And second, the product and services are delivered to the customers through distribution channel by means of information technology. So it is critical to apply intelligence to customer, product, and distribution channel in harmony. So as for the customer intelligence, we have gone beyond the simple CRM system. We enhanced it with intelligence and to offer value-added services to the customers, and it has proven to be very effective. We are also planning to apply intelligence to the product development, which will automate product life cycle management from the product planning to post-sales follow-ups. This will help us offer best product and service, and also we can do it very fast. And finally, channel intelligence. We aim to offer ubiquitous yet consistent services to the customers, wherever they are, or what platform they use, or whether it's an ATM, a branch, call center, internet, or mobile devices. So we call this multi-channel architecture. So IT was a simple support for the business. But however, that's no longer is true. The intelligence will position IT as a value creator or key decision-making tool. So it can help you see and comprehend the size of the elephant in front of you.
Shareholder value represents the critical, the corporate value. And from this perspective, the key critical success factors for the informational system is starting with the integrated management and communication framework. Through the various previous Accecture projects with most of the top Korean clients, one of the key findings were there was huge discrepancies between the management, including top management, actual working level, in terms of the strategy execution. In other words, the most of the people in the organization, they all understand what, but they are not there is no integrity when it comes to how. We thought that's because from lack of integrated communication and the management framework. So setting up this framework is the first step for the successful information system implementation. The second is, on top of this framework, there must be executable strategy. The most of CEO always try to chase up two rabbits. One is the market share, the other is profit. But there is no single way to achieve these two different targets at the same time. This unreachable actually strategy sometimes makes people frustrated in the organization. So there must be clear a few of good management, the indicator to chase up their CEO strategy to deliver the clear message to the organization. From this perspective, the integrated framework will be the key communication channel between and among all the organization, and IT as your infrastructure providing should support this integrated framework, not just standalone based data providing.